working.
You think it's working just fine?
And scene.
And scene.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of the Cinema Dash. I'm Gabs.
And I'm Deej.
And we just watched the movie.
We did just watch a movie.
Alright, so preference. We literally just, not even kidding, like maybe 5 minutes ago just finished the movie.
Yes.
And we're going to do an
So this is our immediate review.
I think this is our first time we're doing like an immediate review.
I think so, yeah. Well, we watched Turbo Kid on Netflix.
Turbo Child.
Turbo Child.
Yeah.
We watched that on Netflix. It was it looked really interesting because you and I are both fans of like 80s synth music and retro stuff like that. So we thought it would be a cool watch. Mm-hmm. So we watched it, and here's our review of it.
Yeah, and we're gonna have our opinions boasted out to you people in your ear holes, and then now you're gonna have to listen to it.
Oh god, that sounds like
or you can X out of the video, and we won't blame you.
Yeah.
Besides that.
Anyway, so a little story.
Yeah. It's just a story.
So there's this kid, and it's a post-apocalyptic 1997, where it's also known as the future.
Yeah, 1997
is the future.
Yeah,
and it's post-apocalyptic, and there's this kid who is really influenced by these comic books with a main character known as the Turbo Rider.
Yep.
And
his power glove, not power glove because it's the Turbo Glove.
The Turbo Glove. Yeah. And
everything about him is turbo.
Yeah. And so one day he's out in the wasteland scavenging, and he meets this girl.
Yeah.
And they go on some crazy adventures together. So without spoiling anything,
plot ensues.
So, yeah, that's pretty much.
With a cowboy with one arm.
Yeah, there's also a cowboy with one hand.
He has two, but he'll get one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to put the spoiler tag on.
Can you just do spoilers? I mean, like, I feel like we're just gonna be like not.
Yeah, honestly, we're probably not gonna care. So, all right, from here on out, every Cinema Dash video will have spoilers.
Yeah.
So, watch at your own risk. Yay.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So we watched this movie. So going into this movie, I wasn't really expecting much, to be quite honest. I heard a little bit of the soundtrack, and I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that got me a little hyped for it. So after really liking the soundtrack, and I saw the trailer a couple times, and I saw it premiered at Sundance. So yeah, I guess I didn't really know too much about it going into it, but other than the fact that I liked the soundtrack and that it was born in Sundance.
Yeah,
so.
you showed me the trailer a while ago.
I did.
And I was interested in it, just because the only thing it reminded me of was Kung Fury, but a lot more violent.
Yes, a lot more violent Kung Fury.
And longer, like 3 times as long.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Yeah, it was about an hour and a half.
Yeah. So taking that into consideration, I wanted to watch it. I was gonna watch it with you, or I was gonna watch it by myself. Mm-hmm. But now that I have watched it with you, I can take off my Netflix watch list.
Yeah, it goes. That's off my list now. So yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, I liked it.
I liked it too. Yeah, it was okay. It wasn't honestly, I wasn't expecting much, but it did exceed some of my expectations. Yeah. But it also kind of fell short a bit.
Yeah, I liked
some parts.
A majority of it I liked, but I liked. I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't love it. But I liked it. I thought it was a nice little film.
If you literally have time, if you have like an hour and a half to kill, and like you're just like, oh, I want to watch something that'll I'll probably tell people that I watch and have like a
I'd recommend it. I'd recommend it to a friend.
I recommend it to certain people.
Yeah, it's not gonna be everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, it's not gonna be everybody's cup of tea.
If you like intense action sequences, then you don't think you'll like it.
Yeah, because the violence in this movie is really over the top, but it's obviously played off for laughs. Yeah. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Tarantino, in a way.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit with like over the top violence, a lot of blood, a lot of blood splatter.
I think just like in the sequences where they do use blood, I think they use more blood than they would use in Quentin Tarantino's films.
Oh yeah, definitely. There was like gallons of blood in this movie.
When you look at Tarantino blood, it's like a mist of blood.
Yeah.
It's like a. This was literally just like a.
Yeah, in this movie it's like fire hoses of blood. It's ridiculous, but it's really hit. It's like a hit or miss type of thing. But I think in this movie it hit a lot because I remember you and me were chuckling a lot during the action sequences. So yeah, I would say one good thing about this movie is the action sequences are very good.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know the budget of this movie, but you could tell it was a very small budget.
Yeah.
Like maybe a little bit under $5 million, I would say. And the action sequences for what they did were really, really good for like a very small budget.
I think the budget definitely like influenced it being in a post-apocalyptic movie.
Yeah, because they're like really cheap and easy to make. So
you
it's
can
like
really just pick anything up and use it as whatever.
Yeah. And that was also really cool. Another really cool thing I liked about this movie. They did.
Yeah.
They took like everyday objects and gave them like
it's like
new meaning.
I think it could be like the best way I can kind of describe the whole post-apocalyptic thing is like a video game because like they scavenged for stuff and they made their own weapons. I mean, sure that was like more in the beginning of the movie and they didn't really do anything with that, but like I don't know, it just kind of reminded me of like a movie with like modern video games rather. That would have
the movie definitely had a very video gamey type feel to it. It was a very lighthearted like feel to instead of like a nitty gritty post apocalyptic like survival story.
Yeah.
This was more of like a fun, very I guess like lighthearted type.
The best way I can possibly put it is if you had Mad Max and Kung Fury and made them have a baby. This is it.
With bikes. With a lot of bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's another really cool thing that I liked about this movie. The bike sequences, how they kind of like filmed it like Mad Max, but they were like moving slow because they were on bikes and stuff like that. Yeah, you and I chuckled at that a bit. That was pretty funny. So honestly, so the action sequence was really good. I really enjoyed the bike sequences. I just really liked how creative the movie was. It was a really creative concept.
I really like the guy with the saw blade for a hand.
Oh, Skeletron. Skeletron. Yeah, Skeletron was probably my favorite character in the movie. Yeah, he was so cool.
He didn't talk, but like he's just a favorite character.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I think he talked a lot more through his body.
His
language.
Actions. Yeah. Whoever portrayed him, and that's also a really good sign of direction too. Yeah. Like how he really, like you could tell this guy like Skeletron was insane. Kind of like off the edge, off the rails.
He couldn't stay still.
Yeah, he couldn't stay still. He was like jittery. He was like shaking. Every time something violent happened, he would like jump up and down and like clap and stuff like that. It was awesome. It was really cool. It was really cool direction. It was also really good acting from the guy who portrayed him. Yeah. So that was one thing I really liked. Another thing I really liked about this movie. The direction actually was pretty solid. Yeah, I would say. I really like how I
like how each new location they kind of like show like a very wide pan of it and just like
very wide shot.
Yeah, this is where it's taking place. There, now do what you will with it.
Yeah, and the use of space in this movie also was very good. They really utilized like in one of the fight sequences or the fight sequence at the end. They really utilized. They were this big like crater, I would say, or like canyon. Like I guess would be the right word to describe it. Yeah, I don't really know. It was like it was a wide open space.
Like a big dirt, like a big hole.
A big hole. There you go. It was in a big hole, and they really utilized just the entirety of the hole. Everybody was running around. It was going insane.
Not a quarry.
No, it wasn't a quarry. But there was it was just everybody was running around. It was very hectic. It was very off. It was off the rails violence, and it was just like they really utilized the space like it was, and also in like the smaller contained fight scenes, they also really utilized the space. Like when they were in the pool, like one of the arenas in the movie is a pool, is a drained out pool. Yeah, and they really just utilized how claustrophobic the environment was, very like tight close-up shots and stuff like that. So it actually made it feel like very claustrophobic.
Yeah, in actuality, it's small, but the way they used it, they made it feel like it was a lot bigger.
Yes, exactly. And that's also good set design. Yeah. It's set design. And overall, I would say the production of this movie, it kind of amazed me, actually, because you could tell this budget was very, very small. And the budget really showed when it came to, like, visual effects and stuff like the CGI type aspects. But mostly this movie was practical. And what they did do with the budget, with all these practical effects, I thought was very, very cool and creative and maybe a bit amateurish, but then again, I can't really hold that against the movie because the budget was again very small. So it's like, for what the movie did accomplish with such a small budget, I was extremely impressed with it. I have to say, I was very impressed with it.
I have to agree with you on that one as well. Just everything,
but yeah, overall,
you kind of said it perfectly, so I'm just like,
yeah, pretty much. What else did I like about this movie?
I like the cowboy. Cowboy was
Yeah, the Cowboy was a really cool character. Yeah, you could tell he was a Mad Max, like, because he was Australian. You know, he was a loner and stuff like that. And then like near the end, he like kind of like warmed up to the situation. Like in pretty much every Mad Max movie, like at the beginning, like Max starts hates everybody, and then at the end, like he like gets closer to whatever.
Like, being a brute, and then just kind of like warms.
And then he leaves at the end. So it's like, it's pretty much, you could tell it was pretty much Mad Max.
I mean, like
the kid left at the end, but like
they go their separate ways.
Pretty much like every Mad Max movie. Max and whoever he helped in that movie go their separate ways. So you could tell it was a lot of you could tell Mad Max was a very big inspiration for this movie, as well as like 80s and 90s action movies and stuff like that. But another thing that I really enjoyed about this movie was all the original artwork that was in the movie, like how Turbo Rider, like they actually made a comic book for the movie. They also had like what are those things called? Where like the viewfinder, and then you put like the things in, you snap, and it shows like different pictures.
Not gonna lie, I don't remember.
I don't remember the name of it.
I remember a lot of I remember having one as a kid.
I remember having one as a kid. But I liked how they did all like original artwork for that stuff.
Just so we can like tell you exactly what it is without actually telling you the name. It's like one of those like red like things. Like the closest thing I can tell you is like a binocular.
Yeah.
And you put like a film,
the
film thing in like the little slot. You look through it, and you pull a trigger, and it switches to like a different scene.
Yeah.
And it's like a visual movie.
Pretty much.
Without like sound or anything. It's like you get it's like a scene, and then there's another scene, and there's another scene.
Yeah, it's pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I just liked how they did all like original artwork for it.
I think when I was a kid, I had one of those Toy Story.
So. I had one of I think Paris.
Okay.
I think I had one of those like with Paris or Italy or something like that. I remember really liking it though because it was cool.
You put up to the light and you could see through it.
Yeah, it was awesome. But a lot of original artwork. It was really cool. And also like the sets that they made, like Turbo Kid's like little underground hideout and stuff like that. That was really cool. The bunker. It was that was also really cool. Again, utilizing space really well. The production, I really just like the production of this movie. I thought that was one of the better aspects of this movie.
The one thing I keep thinking about now, and this is going on to like a different subject from yours. The one thing I really liked about it was the girl in it, Apple.
You liked her?
Yeah. The one thing I really liked about it was she being so happy and jittery the entire time, and how like the whole landscape is just gray, and she's the only colorful thing in it. Like her and the boy had like the only like color in it. Even like the cowboy and the bad guy and all his like little minions had were just like gray or brown or some kind of like just depressing color. That's like the best way to put it. And the girl, like Apple and Turbo Kid were the only ones that had actual color. So it's like, these guys
you could tell it was like a sharp contrast between like the environment and the actual character.
They were the only ones that had any sign of hope really in them.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah. And that's also just like good direction, good costume design, good set design.
She was also funny.
Yeah, she was also really funny. A little bit creepy at first, but we kind of warmed up to her, I think, throughout the entire movie. Plus, she was very attractive, so that was a little.
I mean, whatever.
That was yeah. So yeah, I think that pretty much sums up what we did like about the movie. So let's talk about what we didn't like about the movie. What didn't you like about it?
I thought it was very predictable.
Yeah, I would say the story was extremely predictable.
More toward the end, we just started like guessing random stuff, and it's like the first guess we usually got right.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is gonna happen. Oh, there it is.
And then it happened. And you're like, okay, like, all right, we've seen some countless movies before, so like we already know what was gonna happen. I wasn't really too big on the acting. The acting was, I guess I could kind of make the argument that it sticks with the over-the-top theme of the movie. Yeah. Like over-the-top violence, over-the-top acting. Like, I mean, Michael Ironside had a pretty good performance. I really liked him. He wasn't really a great villain, though.
He was okay.
He was alright, but I didn't think he was that great of a villain. He certainly looked cool, I would say.
I think if he were taking this role more seriously, he'd be a better.
Yeah. And that's also good. That also could be like the whole over the top thing. Like obviously the directors were going for very over the top, like very funny, type atmosphere. And I guess that's what they told Michael Ironside to do. Like, over the top, funny or whatever. Yeah. And I think Michael Ironside just doesn't do that because he's mostly known for dramatic stuff and like villainous roles, which he did play a villain in this, but I don't think he was part of like that I don't think he was into that like comedy villain type guy. But overall I think he did a pretty solid job for what he had. I thought the main kid did pretty okay. Yeah. The girl was
There's not a lot of dialogue in the movie in general.
Yeah, there really isn't a lot of dialogue. The writing isn't really all that, spectacular or anything. But then again, it didn't really need to be because I don't think it really focused on. I don't think the story was really a huge focal point of this movie. I thought it was mostly like the violence and the set pieces and the scenes, all just being over the top. I think that's really like the big marketing point of this movie is that it's just over the top and funny, which it was, and I think it did a very good job at it. But like in the more downtime, in the more like quiet scenes of the movie, it kind of faltered.
Yeah.
But the one scene I did like was when Apple and Turbo Kid were in the garage and they were like talking about the stars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little cute moment. And then we find out that she's a robot and that she has like her hearts thing, which is also really cool. It was a nice little Zelda reference. That is the same hearts as the Zelda games. But yeah, I mean the acting was it was alright. Going back to one more thing, the costumes I thought were really, really great in this movie.
Yeah,
I really, really like the costumes. They took like little like everyday like football jerseys and like flannel shirts and stuff like that, made them all like dirty and post-apocalyptic looking. Goggles. The makeup is really cool too. I really like the makeup. But yeah, anyway, back to what we didn't like.
Yeah.
That was pretty, really, honestly, just the story and the acting, I would say. What about you?
I have a couple beefs with the with the story.
I got some beef with this movie.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. You know what movie? Got a couple problems with you.
Oh gosh.
Some of the things I didn't like about it is like the whole like reason why they wanted to go to Michael Ironside in the first place was because of the Cowboy's brother. I didn't feel like that was necessary. Like I didn't feel like the whole like, oh, it's his brother, so we have to go get him. I feel like it's like, oh, we're just gonna go get him just because he's a bad guy. I'm like, okay, that would have been fine. Like I really like see the whole reason to introduce a pretty important character's relative and just waste them in the first 5 minutes of the movie. I feel like he could have been.
Yeah, I felt like it could have been a little bit more thought out.
Why does he care about his brother? I mean, it could be like, there's a whole brother bond with him, but like maybe there's like some kind of like falling out they had. Like, why should he care about him? You know?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's just.
I feel like they had characters in there that I didn't like.
That weren't necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's like. I don't know. I just feel like the story kind of just moved a little bit. It just kind of moved in different directions. It had a couple tonal problems too, I think.
It could have expanded in parts where I think they could have, like with the whole thing with his brother. Like, oh, well, how did it? I mean,
it kind of just introduced the concept of his brother, just like out of the blue.
How did the cowboy and the brother get to wherever they are in the first place? How did the guy that Turbo Kid sells all the junk to get to the thing where he is? Why does he own the bar and why did he open it up?
Well, I mean, I don't think that really matters. That's already like an established thing. Like
he gives him a pretty good information on how to, fix stuff with the girl.
Who?
The Apple, the only girl in the movie.
No, I meant like who gives who information.
The guy he sells the junk to.
Oh yeah, he does. Oh yeah, true. Like
how does he know that?
Yeah, I guess. Like a lot of things in this movie are just introduced out of the blue, and that's like. It kind of confused. It's kind of confusing at points, where it's like, yeah, this guy knows a lot of things about the wasteland, but we don't know much about him, in a kind of sense.
Yeah, but I guess if you like the whole mysterious thing, then I guess it might work for you. But like, just for us,
it's a very hit or miss type of deal here. Mostly, really everything in this movie is really hit or miss. To be quite honest. Like, I mean, I would say it kind of resonated with both of us as a hit, but a lot of things missed with us.
It's a decent hit.
It's a decent hit.
Like, if I had to show you a picture of a body, and I had a gun, and I had to shoot somewhere on that body, I think you shoot it right in the thigh.
Right in the thigh?
Yeah, that's a decent hit. Like, can you survive a shot in the thigh? Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
It's just a bunch of meat.
It's just a bunch of meat.
Yeah.
You don't need it. Whatever.
Yeah, it's not like it's hitting the bone or anything. Like, it's like, I would say like it's more. It's 66% bone, muscle rather, and 33.
What the fuck are you talking
The point is, I'm saying that it definitely hit me in some places, but like, there's still a lot left they could have done, in my opinion.
I understand. So some other miscellaneous stuff that caught my attention was I really dug the world building that the movie kind of had. Like, in the beginning, when he goes to the town for the first time, I really liked how it introduced all these concepts.
Yeah, but that's kind of thing where oh, why is that there? Like, why? Like, how did that come about?
Well, it was pretty simple. I mean, like the arm wrestling type thing. Like,
yeah, why is he all up in that arm wrestling stuff? Like, how to get into it.
Yeah, it doesn't really. I guess it doesn't really do a good job of explaining it. But
Like, I just arm wrestle. Well, that's cool. But like, how do you
that
start?
was pretty much
I'm
the
not gonna tell
foundation
you.
of the entire Cowboy's character too. That he just
Yeah.
arm wrestles. You know.
Like, how do you get it off? You don't.
Well, you just don't.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was kind of a cool concept, like how it was different, I would say, because in most post-apocalyptic movies, you go to a town, there's like everybody there is a shady character.
Yeah.
Every time the character goes up to the junk dealer, trades junk, he gives him a shitty deal, and that's pretty much what happens in this movie. But
And for some reason, he gives him a magazine, like the comic book that he wants.
yeah, pretty
That's what I
much.
don't get.
And then it's like, but this whole idea of like, oh yeah, they arm wrestle to get branded and stuff like that, and then like that was a pretty cool concept, and like how the outside of the town looked, how it's like inside of this warehouse or whatever. You could tell they just filmed this. You could tell they just filmed it in like a random warehouse, but they made this warehouse seem extremely big.
No, yeah.
And like there was a lot of
thing.
vibrant characters inside of it. Like there were a lot of weird characters. There were a lot of dirty characters.
That's
there were a
why
lot of menacing characters.
Yeah, that's like a whole.
It was just really cool to see all that world building just come together into one little scene.
That's where the spacing works. The best way I can describe that one scene is the tavern scene in Star Wars.
Oh, the canteen, in the first Star Wars.
Yeah.
In New Hope in the canteen.
And Seven.
Yeah. I did get a little bit of that vibe too
Yeah.
when coming in, because you see in the first Star Wars you see all these aliens and stuff like
First, the Star Wars episode 4 and 7, because they're the same movie. Anyway.
that. Alrighty then. I'm just gonna ignore that comment. We're gonna continue with this discussion. But I got a lot of that. I got that like vibe from this movie. I definitely got like that first. Just in that scene though, like I got episode or A New Hope, A New Hope vibe. Like when Luke walks in, he sees all these different aliens, and like there's music playing, and like you see all these weird characters that like, wow, like this really feels like a lived-in bar, like where just people come and it's like scummy and stuff like that. And then you see Turbo Kid walk into this exact same place, and there's a bunch of different weird characters. Like there's dudes with football jerseys, there's dudes with shrunken heads on their belt or whatever. There's dudes with like these really weird weapons.
Everyone's just wearing trash, really.
Everybody's wearing trash and stuff like that, and it's like, wow, like this is really. First off, it's great costume design, and second off, it's just really cool to see like, all right, like a lot of different people come in and out of this bar without the movie having to hold your hand and explain to you that the weird people come in and out of this bar. That was just another. This was a little miscellaneous thing that I liked about it. So what about you? What was another
I was thinking
miscellaneous
of
thing?
one before. Fuck me. You know what?
When and where?
Right now. While we're recording,
Yes.
we'll have a live stream of it too, I guess.
Twitch.tv/thecinema-. Let's go.
Yeah. I like the
That doesn't
flashbacks.
exist.
That's what I wanted to say.
The flashbacks?
Yeah, the flashbacks. I like them. Like most movies, I don't really like the flashbacks. They're just kind of like, I mean, yeah, it's telling me more story, but like I don't feel like they're good in quality. But like I like these.
I don't really have an opinion on the flashbacks. I thought they fit into the story well.
They were what I wanted in the whole like telling me more part of the movie.
Okay.
Like how I said like, oh, I want to know more about the cowboy and how he became, the cowboy that arm wrestles and stuff, and his brother, and like the importance of him. But like, no, yeah, I can see it. I feel like they could have done something like they could have kidnapped. You know what they could have done? I think it would have made a little bit better. Kidnap the mom. Brainwash her so she becomes a Skeletron, and then like he kills.
What?
Yeah, that would have made it a lot better. I think that's what have made it a lot better.
Well, first off, Skeletron's a dude.
Well, you don't know that because he never took the mask off.
Well, you can tell he doesn't have boobs.
Because he had the shoulder pads on.
Shoulder pads cover boobs now.
Yeah. They come down to his chest, dude. Have you never worn shoulder pads?
It's totally a dude. You
It's
can
football
see.
pads.
He had a beard.
He had long hair in the back.
He had a beard.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. You remember that shot where he blows up?
It
And then
could've
it
been
shows like his head. It's his beard.
You know what?
see a
Could have been his
beard.
dad. It could have been his dad. It would have been a lot better.
Well, first off, the dad died.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They could have changed that and made it a little bit better. They would have, like, kidnapped the dad. Like, we'll tell him where we kept. Because he knew where the water was.
What is
No,
going on?
don't treat me like I'm not knowing.
I'm not. I'm just saying, like, why?
I feel like it would have made it better. Like if they took the dad because he knew where the water was, and Ironside's all like, oh, this is my land. You're basically taking all the water from me, all the clean water that we need to survive. Because
But the whole thing about Turbo Kid's character is that he's alone and like his parents are dead. Like that's the whole thing.
He ran away though.
But that would mean. But wait.
Yeah, he ran away.
But that would mean his entire character arc would have just been. You'd have to completely rearrange his entire character arc then.
Not really,
because he's like the whole thing is that he's alone.
All you have to do is make him leave earlier. see him killing his mom and then having them take the dad away, saying, okay, we're gonna get all the answers from you from where you get the water, and we might keep you along so you can become something else. Yeah, you would have had to keep Skeletron out of the one part of the movie where he kills the dad. I like that part too, just because it's like over the top act, like, you know, killing him. Like,
yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah, he literally cut him up into an X shape, and then, like, you know, the whole, like, there's the top part of him that falls off in, like, the two sides.
Yeah, there's just like a stump left, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh god.
But, like, I feel like it could have worked in that way. If like they just took the dad to get the answers of where more water is, because you never know. Because that's another thing. Like, you don't know where the water came from. They have this whole giant, like, barrel of clean water, and we don't know where it came from because literally there's no water in the movie. It's all contaminated. They take it. I don't know if it's like. Should we say like where it comes from? They're taking it from.
Well, I mean, we already spoiled
Yeah.
everything, so yeah, it's a guy. It's a,
They Soylent Green it, and they just take
they
the
Soylent Green it, yeah.
and they, like the water comes from the humans people that they kill in like that pool scene.
Yeah.
And then like the cowboy, no, and then Turbo Kid destroys it, and they're like, oh, we need to get more water now. So,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we know where to get more water because you're the dad, and like you know where to go get it. And all of a sudden, oh, now we're fighting the place where to get the water. You know.
But then the machine wouldn't have even been needed.
It's like, you know, like, because that's easier though. I feel because
it would have been easier, but it's just like
they just take people, put it into a pool with a bunch of other guys. A guy that had a sledgehammer, a makeshift sledgehammer with a piece of with a cinder block and like a big iron wiring. I don't know what you call that.
Rebar.
Yeah, whatever. And you guys had like the switchblade, like throwing stars. You know, it would have been a lot easier just to dispose of them that way and get the water from there. Just because, like he said, a majority of our body is made of water. Instead of like, because like, you know, a lot less people can go after the water as well.
Dude, I think we're looking way too into this movie.
I feel like that would be a lot better. I would have liked it like that.
I don't know. I mean, like, it's not like they can go back and change it. Like the movie's out.
Well,
you know?
obviously they can't. And I would have said, oh, well,
dude, we're looking way too into this movie. I don't think this movie was supposed to be analyzed like this. Like,
I can say the same thing about Star Wars Episode 7, how they can not make it a remake of the fourth one, of the New Hope. But I can't do that now because it's already made.
Right, first off, it's not a remake of the first one. There was a lot of similar elephants. There's a lot of similar elephants.
Okay.
There's a lot of similar elephants, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of similar elements, but it was not the same. You killed it, shut up.
Look who's the idiot now, saying elephants about not...
Fine, I'll just sit in my corner with a dunce cap on and just be like, oh, okay, well, I guess I just have to leave the cinema dash.
Yeah, that's right. I'll run the channel by myself and talk about how they made the movie better.
I'll just contribute from far away.
I feel like if I brought that my idea up, people wouldn't like it. But I would have to explain it more, obviously. It's like in the way I did it.
I mean, it's not. I mean, it's really cliche too. Like, it'd be
not really, because you don't know what he does with the dad. And like, I mean, like, yeah, you could see it from far away. But
yeah, but how many movies have you seen where it's like, oh yeah, this is your brother, and your brother was the villain all the time, and he's been brainwashed by the big bad.
But I feel like it would have done, like, it would have added an extra twist to the movie that it could have used to make it better, that much better.
Yeah, but in a movie that's completely and wholly original, it's just like, why would you fall victim to cliche like that?
I mean, the whole movie's already cliche.
Well, it's just the ending.
Full of cliche.
I felt like the ending was just cliche.
It's like, oh, I like you.
There was a pretty original concept, to be quite honest.
I feel like it took a lot from, like, you know, movies from. Like, I feel like
it was more like homage, though.
Well, homage and cliche, I think, is a very fine line between the two. Let's just say, because like, yeah, they took a lot of stuff from Mad Max, like a lot of stuff from Mad Max. It's basically, if you took Mad Max and threw him in this movie, it's Mad Max
with bikes.
I mean, you can have bikes in Mad Max too.
He didn't.
Yes, he
There's
did.
motorcycles.
A bike and a motorcycle are two different things.
Essentially, you don't have to pedal one.
You put a motor on a bicycle and it's a motorcycle now. It's not that much different.
Well, first off, there's mopeds.
Shut
and
your
scooters.
Mouth. No, you're
the scooters.
You're 100% wrong.
I am not 100% wrong here. If you just put a motorcycle on a bike, if you just put a bike with a motor on it, it's a bike with a motor. Motorcycles are built completely different.
They're basically the same thing.
They're not basically the same thing.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not. One has an engine and handle. Well, they both have handlebars, but one has got an engine. One runs on gas.
Let's see. Let's put a whole like what's the difference like of a whole Venn diagram, shall we? Okay, all right. Bicycles, motorcycles. What's the main difference in them? One has a motor, one doesn't. What's the similarities of it? Handles, 2 wheels, sometimes 3. You could put a sidecar on the side, and you have to straddle it. That's another thing.
Okay.
Other than that, there's nothing much different with them. Like the fact that one has a motor.
The whole thing about Mad Max is that it's cars.
And they also had motorcycles in it.
Yeah, like the second one.
And this also had bikes in it, so there's not really much difference between this and Mad Max.
Yes, there is. Are you kidding? Oh my god.
I just said.
First off, Mad Max didn't have a freaking glove that shoots lasers at people.
Well, that's the only thing that's different.
You
about
can tell
it
was very
That's
inspired
really,
by
that-
Mad Max.
that's
You can
really
tell it
the
was
only-
very inspired by Mad
that's
Max,
really,
but it's not a carbon
That's
copy
really
of
the
Mad
only thing
Max.
different. The only thing different about it is that fact that he's like, oh, I like a superhero and he's got a laser glove for a hand. That's it.
That's not the only difference.
There's
There's a lot of differences.
To
with
me,
this.
it's very Mad Max with a slight twist with sci-fi.
I would
in
say,
it.
yeah, it's very inspired by Mad Max, but I wouldn't say
I say
wouldn't
it's
go to
basically-
say that it's not basically the same as Mad Max.
I think it's basically the same thing as Mad Max.
It's not basically the same as Mad Max. You can
I said-
tell that it's not basically the same thing as Mad Max.
I said it's basically I said in the beginning, if you took Mad Max and put a little bit of Kung Fury in it, that's the movie you get. This is it. This is it. That's all you get. You took Kung Fury, and if you took a little bit of Kung Fury and put into a lot of Mad Max, that's what you get.
This is Mission Impossible all over again.
No, it's not Mission Impossible because
This
it
is
would
Mission
have
Impossible all over
been you leaving the room while I yell at the microphone for like 15 minutes.
I think you left the room at that point. Oh no, we both left the room.
No, because you liked it a lot and then I hated it.
Yeah.
So whatever. Point is,
And that was the point where I tried
The more I
reasoning about how Jurassic World was, and you just absolutely hated
I
it.
fucking hated that movie.
Yeah, it was a
That's
terrible movie,
That's
but,
besides
like-
the point. The point is,
We spent more time arguing about how it's not
Yeah.
a Mad Max copy than reviewing the actual movie.
the more I keep talking about it, the more I keep realizing that it's basically Mad Max with a little bit of Kung Fury. That's
It's
all
not
I-
basically Mad Max. It's
to
not
you,
the same.
To you it isn't, but to me it is. My opinion's better than yours.
Yeah, my ass is better than yours. I do all the work on this channel. Alright. So official Cinema Dash rating, I guess.
Okay. I'd shoot.
Shoot.
Well,
No, did you say shoot or chew? I didn't-
shoot.
Oh, okay.
I'd shoot 3.5. No, 4. I'll give it 4. 4 laser shots out of my turbo glove.
4 out of 10?
4 out of 10.
Damn, son. That's low.
Yeah, because you know what? I liked it when I kept I give it like a 6 or a 7, but the more I keep realizing that it's as I keep repeating to myself, Mad Max with a little bit of Kung Fury, by realizing we give it a lower grade, just because it's
Fair enough. If I was to, I would spray 6.5 gallons of fake of cranberry juice. You could tell it was cranberry juice. The blood was definitely cranberry juice. 6.5 gallons of cranberry juice all over my main character's face, out of 10. Well,
I would ride my bike for 4 out of 10 miles in this movie.
what's at the end of those 10 miles?
I don't even care because I guess it's the other part of the
I don't
waste.
give a shit.
It's the other part of the wasteland we don't see.
Ooh.
It's because it's also leaving it up to a sequel, I guess.
They're not gonna make a sequel.
Oh, I know, but it's like, oh, yeah, he's gonna go search for the other part of the wasteland.
Yeah, he's just gonna roam.
Yeah.
He's just gonna be a roamer.
I'm a loner.
I'm a loner. I'm Batman.
I'm a loner. And I got a boner.
Loner with a boner.
Loner with a boner.
I think we could totally make that.
Loner with a boner.
Loner
Oh
with
yeah,
a boner.
you made a sweet movie. that
Oh
showed-
yeah, should
probably
we talk about that?
Nah, I would just say it involved a little bit.
Black
of
Magic Woman, 1980s, and Dane DeHaan.
We didn't say 1980s. We just said,
You could say all right. I would say present day, but very inspired by the.
I would say
80s.
like Drive.
Drive to
era.
Miami.
Drive era. Maybe Miami. I was gonna say more like LA. I was gonna say more like LA.
LA.
More like beat up outskirts of LA.
So Drive.
More beat up outskirts of LA, not like main LA.
So Drive.
Yeah. only with Dane DeHaan or whatever.
Dane
his name
DeHaan and Black Magic Woman
in the intro.
and Santana.
It was a good. It was a good.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about it in a different episode.
in a hopes and dreams
In
video.
a hopes and dreams video. But
Cinema Dash.
I honestly thought it was a pretty cool idea. I thought we both thought it was a pretty cool
I
idea.
don't know if we ever get Dave DeHaan on the horn and he likes the
Yeah, if we get Dane DeHaan, we're just gonna be like, yeah, Dane DeHaan, listen, star in our Drive remake, alright?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if you don't know who Dane DeHaan is, think the guy from Chronicle gets killed at the end, and oh man, I can't remember.
Green Goblin from
Green
Amazing
Goblin,
Spider-Man
thank
2.
Wait, I think it's Green Goblin. Like, no, isn't it Hobgoblin in this one?
Is it Hobgoblin? I don't know.
I remember like in the comics, it's like, oh,
Was it Hobgoblin?
Green Goblin's son becomes Hobgoblin or something like that. I don't remember. Point is, like the whole Spider-Man.
Wasn't
thing-
his name Harry Osborn in the movie?
Yeah, he was the son of
Yeah, so it would be Green Goblin then, right?
I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't really know my Spider-Man.
All I know is that it's like I may or may not like see new Spider-Man just because like I pretty much had it with Spider-Man.
At this point I'm kind of done. Oh, the first two.
That's the thing we can talk about in an episode.
What?
Whether or not Spider-Man can like.
Oh yeah, we haven't done it in the industry in a while.
How many remakes does it take for studios to get that we don't want it anymore?
To get it. Yeah, we could totally do another in the industry episode.
That's an idea.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot of stuff planned for the future, so
yeah.
we'll still be releasing content. So
hopefully.
Anyway,
so this whole like movie debate doesn't like tarnish our friendship a little bit.
Oh stop! No, it's not. We may disagree on things, but you're my bro.
All right.
Alrighty. Thank you everybody for watching. This has been the episode 14 of the Cinema Dash.
It's not episode 14. It's episode. Wait, don't get away yet. We had to do the whole outro.
But it's. Oh.
No, dude. This has been season 2, episode 3 of the Cinema Dash. I'm Gabs.
And I'm Deej.
And this is Turbo Kid. And we just reviewed it, and now you're gonna press the button to stop the video.
I am gonna press the button to stop the video. Thanks for watching, everybody. We love you. Bye.